Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode with iTrack. Now, can somebody please tell me what has Alex Jones so worried? We have a few clips to check out, and he's definitely at the top of the list. But before we get into any of that, you definitely want to jump into what I'm reading currently, and it is the Book of Conspiracies. And I left the link below so you can take a gander at what it all might entail. Make sure to smash that like button before we get right into it. Smash the subscribe button and make sure to hit that hype button. Let's jump into it.
I'm trying to explain this.
Yeah.
This is not. I'm not playing games. Okay.
Yeah.
I want you to listen to me very carefully. I've always followed my intellectual analysis of history. Okay. And I'm here in Northern California, which is infiltrated Bohemian Grove. Again, that's breaking. And I have my 7-year-old daughter with me and my wife with me, and I've got 3 other older children. I can't get on your show and lie to you. So I'm sitting here believing we're about to have a nuclear war. They've already tried to kill Trump. They're going to do it again. And so I feel guilty literally talking to you and saying we're about to see the end of civilization. Right now on the road we're on like you got your GPS, you're driving this restaurant, you're driving this place, you're going to the beach. We're not going to the beach, folks. We're going to thermonuclear war and the end of civilization and total death. And I don't say that to be dramatic. I literally was sitting here and you were asking me what's happening next, and I started to vomit.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm tough. Okay. I'm tough. Okay. I've been in a lot of fights. I don't break. I don't easily buckle. I am literally having a panic attack right now because of the magnitude of what's happening to our civilization.
Now, Joe Rogan was just apologizing to him just a few days ago about not believing him about the Epstein files. So for him to come out and say all of this holds just a little bit of weight.
So Hillary Clinton tweeted, "If we are going down, everyone is coming with us." And then Bill Clinton tweets, "I have called for the full release of the Epstein files. I have provided a sworn statement of what I know. And just this week, I agreed to appear in person before the committee." And then Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton also said, "We want our hearing to be public. The truth belongs to the American people. They deserve to know all the truth." But then Bill Clinton keeps replying to himself, and this one got 164,000 likes. "I will not sit idly as they use me as a prop in a closed-door kangaroo court by a Republican Party running scared. If they want answers, let's stop the games and let's do this the right way, in a public hearing where the American people could see for themselves what this is really about." And obviously Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton definitely has done some crazy stuff, so if they're going all in, they're bringing everyone with them. What do y'all think?
It sounds like they're ready to crash out. Those are some of the most dangerous people. People that have nothing to lose and people that are real skittish and scary. Because you never know what they might do or say.
The Super Bowl is taking place in San Francisco this year. People who have been visiting from all over the country are noticing that something really weird is going on there. Basically, as people have been driving into the venue to attend the game, they have been noticing that there are absolutely no homeless people on the street. And keep in mind that this city has the highest homeless population in all of the United States. So the fact that they are nowhere to be found is concerning to say the least, because someone is obviously putting them somewhere, which is why every single person in the comments has come to the conclusion that if we actually wanted to help the homeless people, we could.
Morbid Facts, Part 893. In 2022, DMV rapper Markel Moro, aka Gunu, was shot and killed in Washington, D.C. Days later, his family held a memorial inside a D.C. nightclub where his embalmed body was dressed in designer clothes, propped upright on stage, and displayed while his music played to a crowd. The invite-only event was attended by family, friends, and fans, turning a nightclub into a viewing space and leaving people standing feet away from his real corpse. There's no evidence Gunu ever requested this, making it one of the strangest memorials ever held for a deceased rapper. 1925, Ora Ralph Thomas, an Illinois sheriff's deputy during the Prohibition era, was assassinated by members of the KKK. Thomas was the leader of an armed anti-Klan paramilitary group, making him a direct target. When 3 Klansmen ambushed him, Thomas returned fire, shooting and killing all 3 of his attackers before succumbing to his own wounds.
You know what? Bringing a deceased body back to the club seems like the complete opposite of resting in peace. Or am I missing something?
Be careful what you eat from Walmart. I worked there for 3 years before I got fired, and I'm finally exposing what they do behind the scenes. Those fresh cookies are usually a lie. When they get hard and stale, we just spray them with water and reheat them to make them soft again, which means you basically paid for disgusting old cookies. Since they are tricking you like this, you should know that you can return any food, even if you've already eaten half of it. Bring it back for a full cash refund.
Epstein Files connects to Stranger Things. First, Epstein had a plan to develop a super race of humans. Was that not Papa's plan? In Stranger Things, we see a lot of pregnant women to create this race. This is the ranch that Epstein used for these women to get pregnant to create this race. They all have one Papa, which is what he wanted. The scientist Stephen Hawkins was always with Epstein, possibly trying to develop this. Scientist Hawkins, the name of the town, Hawkins. Here's one of the emails showing the little girls developing special abilities. Pause to read. Collie also shows Elle that they're getting rid of these bad people. Why do one of the people look so much like Epstein's wife? Seriously. And Henry was also taking the kids to this place where there were no rules. Certainly no rules here. He talks about how they're the best because they're easy to manipulate. Wonder who else thought that. And who he takes keeps on getting younger, and he also gave them gifts, which is very common amongst people that want to manipulate kids. People have pointed out how similar this is to Harry Potter. Read Harry Potter's shirt. What does that say? Oh, and this. Epstein? Henry is literally in Harry Potter. Here's a video about him talking about the Stranger Things plot, basically.
Our world of the physical world, there was things that were just unexplainable. They called it strange things. You gave it a name. You gave it some characteristics. No one understood what it was.
This creator posted that unfortunately Matthew Modine, who plays Papa, did know about Epstein, but went on and participated with the madam and 3 other women. Allegedly, but based off her sources, you can go check.
Why do Formula One drivers sit in such an unusual and seemingly uncomfortable position? To get it perfect, they are literally molded into the car using a bag of quick hardening foam. The driver sits in this liquid mess until it captures every curve of their body, creating a carbon fiber shell weighing just 3 kilograms. This seat fits so tight that drivers cannot gain a single pound, or they won't fit inside. But the posture is where it gets truly insane. Their knees are elevated to chest level to engage the glutes for maximum leverage. This is the only way to survive slamming the brake pedal with a shattering 150 kilograms of force over 800 times per race. The ultimate reason for this torture is aerodynamics. At 300 kilometers per hour, the driver's body is a literal component of the car's airflow. 1 inch of movement would cause chaotic turbulence, slowing the car down and destroying performance.
One thing that's true of psychopaths, if you believe that he is one, is that they actually have a slower blink rate than your average person. This is studied. This is a fact. So it's interesting that if you pay attention to his blink rate, it's very, very slow.
Getting a call from the Palm Beach County Jail, will you accept reverse charges? And the person either says yes, and the call goes through, or the person says no. The person I had called was Jimmy Kane, the president of Bear Stearns. And I said, tell me.
See a little eyebrow flash right there. He's excited by this story. I'm not sure who the original audience was for this, but I think this kind of information is not that exciting for your average audience, unless this is a group of people that are very excited about finance.
The president of Bear Stearns. And I said, tell me what's going on. And so that my knowledge of the financial crisis happened with Jimmy, who was at the center of the storm, telling me about what Lehman had gone under, and they were trying to figure out a way, should they bail out Bear Stearns?
And as he's talking about this, he's actually flexing his steepling. His hands are moving back and forth, so he doesn't actually look as confident as...
Yeah, that is a real diamond in this man's eye, who now goes by Diamond Eye Jones. This actually started when he was 17 while in juvenile detention center, where he contracted toxoplasmosis. He said that no one would listen to him when complaining about his vision, and it eventually required multiple surgeries that were unsuccessful. Multiple complications to those surgeries ultimately resulted in him losing the eye altogether. During the prosthetic process, because he's a jeweler, he actually decided to embed a 2-carat diamond into the actual prosthetic. He has certainly made the best of the situation and now goes by Diamond Eye Jones, but this is an excellent example of why it's so important to take people's vision complaints seriously.
Not there. What the heck?
A homeowner on the northern edge of the Cumberland Plateau in Alabama was alerted to movement on her rural property after her security system triggered multiple motion alerts late at night. Uploaded by LMMU LWBT9CW, what the cameras captured has left viewers deeply uneasy.
Where's the dog? Well, you better go now.
Across several security cameras positioned around the property, a pale, human-shaped figure can be seen moving through the darkness.
Is this the world record for the amount of soft contact lenses found hidden in someone's eye? Now, my personal record that I've seen on a patient is 5. And these were contacts just stacked right on top of each other, right on the center of the eye. A patient just kept forgetting that they were wearing contacts. Hey, my vision's blurry. Contact, blurry, contact, blurry, contact. And over time, just realized something's going on here. Then I found 5 contacts on there. This person had 23 contact lenses. Now, they were hidden underneath the top eyelid, which is a common place for soft contacts to kind of get lost up there. But 23 is a lot. But would it surprise you that this is not the record? In fact, the record from what I can research was 27. And this was found on a 67-year-old patient that went in for cataract surgery. And as they were looking into the eye, they found this bluish ball mass, took it out, and found out that there were contact lenses in there. In fact, there were 17 in this mass. And so then they thought, oh, maybe we should keep looking. Then they found 10 others scattered, hidden underneath the eyelid of the eye. Now, if you're asking yourself, how is this even possible? I ask myself that same question. Usually these patients are dealing with a dry, irritated eye, red eye, but it just becomes kind of normal to them. They think it's maybe attributed to dryness. And a lot of times doctors don't spend the extra time to really look up underneath the eyelid, and it can be missed.
Hey, she should be thanking God that she didn't lose her eye. You went in for cataract surgery. You could have been going in to get that whole eye removed. That's crazy.
The company just 3D printed a working science invents itself.
What happened if you tore your Achilles or ACL during the Middle Ages? So if your knee exploded or a heel snapped, they would just say that your leg was failing. Diagnosing it was simple. They obviously knew it was an injury, but they didn't know how to treat it. Does it bend? Can you stand up? Those were basically all that was asked. Treatment was rough. They would immobilize it, use splints and boards, and tell you to pray. If your Achilles ruptured, that was it. You were done as a worker or a soldier. You were just limping for the rest of your life. You couldn't sprint, you couldn't fight, and farming was much harder. If it was an ACL tear, that was worse. Your knee was never stable, and people would say that your legs were giving away. If the swelling turned into an infection or it got septic, they just cut it off. And even if you survived, you were disabled for life. No physical therapy, no comeback story, you just had a limp. Tearing your Achilles or ACL didn't happen that often. People played sports, but they weren't making a lot of explosive movements. It's not like they were practicing every day or training to get better. The only time you ever really ran in a full sprint was during a battle charge.
We are definitely living in the best time right now to be alive. I couldn't imagine being born back then. I literally broke my left arm before. It looked like a V, right? Looked like a V. And the doctor had to reset it, which was painful, and I got a cast, went on about my way, my arm's fixed. Back then, they were just chopping limbs off, just chopping them off. I couldn't imagine it, man.
Yeah, so one of the jokes that I discussed on the tour is the fact that they would have these parties in the Hollywood Hills, you know, and then they would have a parking lot where they would shuttle people up. So everybody would meet in this parking lot and they would send shuttles down to, you know, Diddy's parties. And so I wasn't ever invited to the parties, but I was invited to the parking lot because I knew the people that ran the shuttle service. You knew them too, as it turned out. But yeah, I would go to the parking lot and I would watch them all go up there. And, you know, they would be thinking I'm coming later. I would just be on the car having a grand old time, smoking and laughing and watching everybody who's going. And yeah, so you can't tell me what goes on because 5 hours later, I'm still in the parking lot when they come down. And, you know, just to see all them big time Hollywood men that I just watched go up there, they all come down off the shuttle and looking sad in the eyes, and all of them wearing Sean John and looking oily, and they all walk crazy like this, and their shoelaces were always untied. I don't know why. Their shoelaces were always untied. And then they would get in their car and they would drive off standing up, big boy, with their head out there. All of them. And I couldn't believe it, but.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Cat Williams is in my top 2. One of the funniest guys ever. And he's got to be telling some kind of truth because nobody's come out and said anything yet.
The 8-hour sleep cycle was invented to make you a better worker, not a better human. Most humans in history did not sleep at specific hours. In Europe, most people even slept in 2 blocks. You'd go to bed early for your first sleep, and then you'd wake up around midnight for like 2 or 3 hours to read, eat, pray, or sometimes even to visit your neighbors, and then you go back for your second sleep. But in the Industrial Revolution, factory owners needed everyone to be synchronized. As workers fought to protect their rights, the 888 slogan became popular. That's for 8 hours work, 8 hours recreation, and 8 hours of sleep. This was a big win for workers' rights, but also one of the main reasons we think we should sleep 8 hours through the whole night.
Hey, and there's a lot of truth to that. A lot of the movers and shakers of the world are not sleeping a straight 8. I've never seen it, and I've seen them in all tax brackets, size, shapes, creeds, and the general consensus is they're not sleeping a straight 8.
If anybody's expecting the next 5 years to be good, I don't know why you would think that, right?
So what do you flesh it out for us?
So Israel and Iran is not over, not by a long stretch. The conflict either goes covert and there's more covert action between the two, or it continues to fester as on and off overt activity, right? But Israel needs to stay embroiled in conflict. Donald Trump has benefited by Israel being embroiled in conflict. And the only way Israel is going to win back the support of Khaliji Arabs who are staunchly in support of Palestine, the only way Israel builds back that relationship is by continuing to have conflict with Iran or ending their conflict in Gaza. Which one are they going to choose of the two of those?
This was shown during the opening ceremony at the Olympics. That's an upside-down pentagram, clear as day. They even framed the shot at the exact angle where you can't miss it. That's revelation of the method. They don't hide it, they show it because they know most people will just brush it off as art or entertainment.
It's a functioning machine, this called, and it's going to perform, if you will, for visitors throughout the games. Lighting up the sky.
Tell me how this doesn't look straight out of hell, and it gets even worse. This looks like something straight out of an Eyes Wide Shut scene. It's the same vibe, same symbolism. It just seems to always be something against God. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Hey, you can't call it a coincidence because now there's AI that could create any kind of symbol, any kind of design, and it seems to be a consistent symbol and design that we're seeing out here.
If you are 50 years old or younger, the CEO of Anthropic predicts you will live to be 150 years old. Dario Amodei wrote the essay Machines of Loving Grace a few years ago. In it, he predicts positive outcomes as a result of AI. He likens it to what happened between the year 1900 and 2000. In those 100 years, the human lifespan doubled. Regular human lifespan was like 35 to 40 years old. By the year 2000, it was more like 80 years old. He thinks the same doubling will happen within the next decade, not the next 100 years. So from 1900 to 2000, we had some cures for infectious diseases, vaccines. We learned a lot more about sanitation. We started living longer. Dario paints a picture where AI within the next few years is going to become so powerful and intelligent that a data center will be like having a country full of geniuses in one place. It would be as if every person in the United States was an Albert Einstein level genius. Every single one of us. And we never sleep. We do nothing but research around the clock. That's what we're building with AI. And so when you have that sort of data center with a bunch of geniuses in it, they're going to solve genetic issues, cellular repair. He talks about there are turtles that live to be 200 right now. So theoretically, there's no reason that humans shouldn't be living to that age too. We just have to fix the bugs that make us age. What do you guys think? I'm sharing this and other predictions by leaders in AI. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and please follow for more.
I always say 100 years is not a long time to live. It's really not. You know, most people are not making it to 100. So imagine how much you could accomplish if you could make it to 100. How much more time you could spend with your family if you could make it to 100. Some pretty exciting stuff.
If I told you this symbol is thousands of years old, and it's actually about you. The double-headed eagle can be traced back to ancient Samaria and the Hittites. In its earliest forms, it represented duality, life and death, the physical and the spiritual. Some traditions say it began as the phoenix, but over time it became the eagle, a guardian, two heads, always watching, symbolizing strength and the ability to see between worlds. In certain secret societies, this emblem is linked to the highest degrees. It stands for balance, duality, and the fusion of knowledge. Esoterically, it's about mastering existence between spirit and matter, learning to transmute bad into good and good into bad until you can bring order out of chaos. It represents sovereignty over your dual nature. One head looks east towards spiritual knowledge, the other looks west towards physical power. The initiate learns to perceive both the temporary and the eternal at the same time, governing matter while remaining in the spirit. Two perspectives, one being. This is the hero's journey through every degree, the moment unified consciousness is achieved, and that being is you.
Scientists just got the FDA approval to test a treatment that would literally reverse aging in humans, and the first patients are being enrolled right now. This is obviously insane. This company called Life Biosciences just got the green light from the FDA to test the first ever cellular rejuvenation therapy on actual humans. And if you're like me, you obviously don't know what that means. They figured out how to use 3 specific genes to essentially factory reset your cells back to a younger state. This is not to slow down aging, it's not to treat symptoms, it's actually to reverse the aging process at a cellular level. Dude, this already worked in animals. They took old mice that had lost their vision and they restored it to levels of young mice. And by the way, that only took 4 weeks. In another study that they performed, they extended the lifespan by 109% over the control group, which is more than double. The first official human trials are targeting eye diseases, specifically glaucoma and optic nerve damage. Patients for this trial are enrolled right now with the results expected by the end of this year. They're saying that this is not going to be available to the public for years, but the fact that we are testing this right now on humans is a line that we have never crossed. Dude, if this works, it changes everything that we know. So
every single day they put AI on the job, man, they're getting closer and closer. But as far as glaucoma, I've heard of a few medicinal ways to get rid of that.
Happy Bread and Circus Day, everybody. Right now, the world is locked onto massive spectacles. The Super Bowl, the Olympics, giant, emotional, highly produced events designed to pull millions of eyes to the same place at the exact same time. And there's so much happening in the world right now that some people are talking about and some people are completely ignoring. So some people don't need distraction because they're already distracted enough. One thing I know for sure today is all these fancy rich people that flew their private jets to the Super Bowl, they're going to get back on those jets at the end of this Super Bowl, fly away to islands or private states and do absolutely horrible things. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with enjoying the Super Bowl or the Olympics. People deserve entertainment. People deserve relief from the constant heaviness of the world. You know, and this ain't anything new. Governments learned a long time ago that they can use public events like this to calm the angry public. In ancient Rome, leaders poured money into massive games at the Colosseum. Well, at the same time all that was going on, just like modern times, all the rich were doing horrible things and controlling politics. And what we found out recently, it's pretty much the exact same things. But while you're watching the Super Bowl today and it pans to all those skyboxes, just remember, those are horrible people.
And you know he's not lying. We all know of a few people that are ready to die about their basketball team or their football team. All this entertainment and distraction.
Starship is the most complicated machine ever made by humans.
In what regards?
Anything, really. I'd say there isn't a more complex machine. Pretty much any project I can think of would be easier than this. Nobody has ever made a fully reusable orbital rocket. It's a very hard problem. Many smart people have tried before, very smart people, with immense resources, and they failed. And we haven't succeeded yet. You know, Falcon is partially reusable, but the upper stage is not. Starship version 3, I think this design, it can be fully reusable. And that full reusability is what will enable us to become a multi-planet civilization. Any technical problem, even like a Hadron Collider or something like that, is an easier problem than this.
So isn't it interesting? During the Super Bowl, right after these files were released, brand new trailer for the movie Disclosure Day came out coincidentally. And what's Disclosure Day, you ask? It's a movie all about when we find out as humanity that we're not alone and aliens exist and society collapse because we're too stupid to be able to handle it. It's almost like they're warning us ahead of time of what the next play is and trying to get us to freak out in advance. They're programming us to how to react to if this ever actually happens, allegedly. But what they don't tell you is, while some of these guys aren't good guys, is that some of these guys are our cousins. They're our interstellar brothers and sisters ready for us to come back. They want to help us reshape societies, gives us technology so we never get sick again, we can live hundreds of years in the future, and we can ultimately have peace on Earth in a utopia. But the people at the top don't want that, because then we're empowered, and then we can't be their slaves, and as a result, they make this crap propaganda to try to get us to freak out instead of seeing the gifts that are just right on the other side of all this. What do you guys think?
At this point, we all know predictive programming is real, so there's some truth to it.
3 months ago, this woman went viral because she proved that every person has an invisible beard on their face that they cannot see. And when she sprays this hair identifier on her face, you'll notice that her entire face, neck, and body is covered in hair. And everyone in the comments is saying that they're just creating a problem to sell the solution, which actually is kind of true, but she doesn't know the hidden reason why this is so bad. Because even though you are getting rid of this surface layer of hair that is on your face, when you use a razor blade on your skin like this, you're removing the surface protective layer of skin off of your face as well. And even though that gives a smooth finish, it can cause breakouts, irritation, and even infection.
He died before he died. Are y'all ready to see how much of a show this really is? Ready or not, here we go. Why in the world do we have a draft from the DOJ talking about finding him in his cell unalive the day before he actually, passed away? Read it. This morning on the 9th, they found Jeff, Manhattan Corrections, unresponsive in his cell. So why in the world is there a draft the day before he passed away saying that they already found him passed away? Eastern Standard Time, right? It was the 10th at 6:30 a.m. they found him. And even the tape they released had those same timestamps from August 10th, even the part they took out of the video. But wait, there's more. They said there is no list. Correct me if I'm wrong. This looks like a list. And even crazier, there's a few people that are talking about they're learning how to unredact these files. Speaking of redactions, isn't it funny how last time they released files, they released this picture with these redactions of these picture frames? Well, they released it again and forgot the redactions. I already blanked out this one right here. I think you probably know why. And what in the world is this supposed to be? By the way, we have the State Department removing all posts from his public accounts before the president returned to office. But I have a feeling that won't be all. And now we have, supposedly, allegedly, the survivors are saying that in 5 days they'll name names if nothing else gets dropped. Although, for real this time, because we've heard that before. Yeah, Bill Clinton and his girlfriend. Whatever it is. Yeah, it's a very real situation, but they are releasing it themselves. Why? They need you to believe them very, very soon.
Why are people claiming to have proof that Epstein is still alive? And what the hell's it got to do with Fortnite? Well, ultimately, people are claiming that they have linked one of Epstein's real emails to a Fortnite account that is being active after his death. And when this started going viral, that account was immediately made private. Pictures like this also started circulating at the same time, claiming to have found Epstein walking around in Israel. Problem is, those pictures AI generated. And as for Epstein ripping Fortnite in the Big 26, problem is it does contain a lot of correct information, which is what makes it so misleading. It all starts with a real email that he used and a real username that he seemingly used for you to his email.
The womb of the mother, it's a stargate, it's a portal. It's a multi-dimensional sacred portal. All human beings enter through it. The divine mother, the 13th stargate. The womb is a living doorway that opens between the physical world and the spirit world. When a baby is created, the womb becomes a multi-dimensional gateway that allows the soul to travel from the spirit realms, remember, down to the Cathara grid, into a human body. And it's not just holding the baby, it's guiding the soul safely into earth.
The pyramids in Egypt have these cylinders, but no one is speaking about Luxor Temple, located in Karnak, Egypt. It's built in the figure of the human body. It's not a temple for worship. It was a 3D mystery school, teaching the science of ascension of our consciousness. The entrance is the feet. The feet touch the material earth, which represents the lower mind, the low state of consciousness. Every one of these rooms contains symbolism, containing secret teachings in order to ascend, designed to gradually elevate the individual's mind from the lower to the higher, from matter to spirit. These symbols on the walls encoded secret spiritual wisdom. and you would have to go room by room to work your way up. Egyptians never worshipped any deity. They taught the secret teachings of occultism on how to expand the human awareness.
You need any more proof that they're attempting to desensitize as many people as possible? They are showing Epstein victim commercials during the Super Bowl. Do you think it's a coincidence that the files dropped a week before the Super Bowl, the most watched program of the year? And the saddest part is that a lot of people think that the victims are the ones responsible for putting on this commercial.
After years of being kept apart, we're standing together. Standing together. Because this girl deserves the truth. Because she deserves the truth. Because we all deserve the truth.
They deserve the truth. You notice how not once in their commercial did they mention justice or accountability? There are creators on here right now that are saying, oh my God, isn't it so amazing that these victims are finally getting to expose these people? The ones in the files are intentionally exposing themselves. And no one is thinking about why. They've been sitting on these documents forever. Why now? Because information is only given to us when it can be useful. The same people who are in these files are the same people who are exposing these files. And they're the same people that are putting on this commercial. This has nothing to do with transparency or justice. No one is thinking about the bigger picture here. You've all been demanding files. Now you finally have access to them. Tell me what you personally are even gonna do about it. It's a power move. It's proving to you that they cannot be touched no matter what they do.
A lot of people don't know this, but if you eat a pizza right at midnight, your body doesn't know if you ate the pizza yesterday or today, so the calories simply do not count. I'm not a dietitian, but I'm pretty sure that's true.
Nah, I'm pretty sure that's not how that works. I'm pretty sure that's not how that works.
Here's a fun fact. Humans are wired to enjoy stories more than facts.
Kanye West has a new record deal, but it's not a normal record deal. He probably doesn't want a normal record deal at this point. However, he probably could not get a normal record deal, certainly not a 8 or 9 figure deal commensurate with his status. His new deal is with a smaller company called Gamma. It's a startup that is ownership first, so it's not asking him to give away his masters. It's run by Larry Jackson, a former Apple Music executive. For Kanye, this is ultimately just a distribution deal. They say the deal is going to net him in the low to mid $1 million range. That is a small deal for him because this is not a normal record deal. He's not giving up his masters. He doesn't have a multi-album commitment to them. This is ultimately a distribution deal. We are told that Gamma recently, like this week, had an all-hands meeting to deal with, okay, now we have Kanye, and yes, he is politically toxic and culturally toxic. What are we going to do about that? And some Gamma employees are like, we are not happy with this deal at all. Nobody is saying that Gamma made Kanye apologize, but perhaps this new relationship made him think, okay, maybe it's time to apologize so I can make more money out of this situation. He always apologizes for being anti-Semitic right before an album comes out. I like this innovative deal for Kanye, not giving up his masters, using a new sort of label as distribution. But here we see the lingering effect of schmaltzy Kanye. He may not want a real record deal, but he cannot get one. Without the schmaltzy stuff, there's no question he could sign an 8 or 9 figure deal with almost any major label.
I'm pretty sure he's not worried about a traditional record label deal or even partnering up. I think if he doesn't own everything, I don't think he's going to mess with it.
Since I was in jail, there were no books. Why? There's no library. No library, but you're in jail. No, I was in jail, not prison. So in jail, I was in a place what's called the Special Housing Unit, which is for the roughest, toughest, meanest people. They had put me there, they said, for my own protection. So I was in a 8x10 cell with a little slit in the door where they would serve my food on a tray about 9 inches by 4 inches. And then as soon as I finished eating, they would take the tray and close it down. And one of the guards said, Do you understand there's Wall Street's crashing? I'm worried about my pension fund. What should I do? And I said, sorry, Wall Street's crashing? What's happened? And he said, there's some crisis and some companies are going bankrupt. I said, are you sure?
What rhymes with orange?
Nothing.
Nothing rhymes with orange.
People say that the word orange doesn't rhyme with anything, and that kind of pisses me off because I can think of a lot of things that rhyme with orange.
What rhymes with orange?
If you're taking the word at face value and you just say orange, nothing is going to rhyme with it exactly. If you enunciate it and you make it like more than one syllable, orange, you could say like, I put my orange 4-inch door hinge in storage and ate porridge with George.
Dean writes to Musk, any plans for New York? The opening of the General Assembly has many interesting people coming to the House. Musk replies, I run and lead product design engineering for 2 complicated companies. Moreover, SpaceX is about to launch what is arguably the most advanced rocket in history. Flying to New York to see UN diplomats do nothing would be an unwise use of my time. Epstein writes back, do you think I'm R-worded? Just kidding. There is no one over 25 and all very cute. So he was trying to write in his stupid code for Musk. Musk didn't read the room, okay?
No.
He didn't get it.
I'm pretty sure Musk read the room, but he was worried about the money, about the inventions, about his legacy. He wasn't worried about what old P. Stain was worried about.
This physicist claims that consciousness created the universe. And could this be the bridge between the science and spirituality? Federico Fagin, the inventor of the microprocessor, says that reality has mind, body, and spirit, but not in the mystical way that we usually think of. Also remember to like and follow for more content like this. He defines body as classical information where it's stable, physical, and we're able to copy the patterns. But then the mind is quantum information, where it's all about probabilities, potential states, and predictions. And the most interesting one is that he calls spirit not as the soul, but as meaning itself. So not more data or symbols, but the felt experience of things such as love, pain, and the experience of being alive. Where he says that science usually studies symbols, but consciousness is about what those symbols mean to someone when they experience it. And this is where he flips the Big Bang Theory on its head, saying that we didn't come from particles, to chemistry, to our brains, and consciousness, but rather consciousness created reality, which created matter. So instead of starting with atoms, he says it all begins with the one fundamental whole. A reality that's not made of parts, but a reality that is ever-changing, interconnected, and self-knowing. Where he says that the universe is essentially consciousness exploring itself. Which is exactly what the philosopher Alan Watts says, that the universe is basically playing hide and seek with itself. And he explains this with quantum physics. When a quantum system collapses from many possibilities into one result, he says that's not randomness, but rather it's an act of free will. Not human free will, but the choice of the quantum field itself. Where he says these quantum fields are simultaneously the observer, the observed, and the agent itself. Where the act of knowing something is a creative process that continues to generate reality.
Because they'll mess with your dream state before they mess with you physically. That's the first red flag, is when somebody is having bad dreams in the house. Children having bad dreams. Even animals could have bad dreams because they're being harassed in the astral. So the first red flag for any of this is bad dreams. Doesn't matter if you're a child or an adult. It's always bad dreams. That's what they mess with the most. They mess with your dream state. So any form of night terrors or any form of physical issues that cannot be determined by a doctor. If the doctors are like, we don't know why, that is a red flag. Bad dreams and unexplainable health issues. And this is not a rare problem. This is something we're noticing everywhere. It's everywhere. And it's despicable. And like I said, if they can damage your physical body early enough, they can ruin the rest of your plan for your life. But remember that fear is food. So if you guys are disempowering yourself through fear, you need to channel your inner mama bear, okay? This is not like, oh, I'm so scared for my children. No, you got to get mad for your children. Fear is not what I'm trying to promote here, because fear is entity food. I don't tell you these things because I want you to be afraid. I'm telling you because I want you to be empowered. I want you to be recognizing the red flags and the signs. And I really want you to be paying attention to all of these little things all over. Because if you're sitting there in fear, then you're sitting there with food. That's entity food. That only makes it worse. So no, you don't want to get scared. You want to get mad. You think my baby? You come with my mess with my baby? Oh, heck no. That's the attitude you need. You want to start channeling whatever you need in order to feel empowered. If that's anger, then go for it. It's better than fear.
Sun looks white in space, not yellow like it does on Earth because of how our atmosphere scatters sunlight. But from Venus, you wouldn't even see the sun at all because the atmosphere is so thick. Plus, you'd be dead.
Fireflies are disappearing, and we may be the last generation to see them. As forests and wetlands are cleared, fireflies lose the dark and humid spaces they need to live and reproduce. Not only that, bright artificial lights such as street lamps, cars, even porch lights interfere with their delicate mating signals, making it harder for them to reproduce. On top of that, pesticides harm not only the fireflies, but also the insects that their larvae depend on for food. Many scientists warn that if we don't act soon, we may never experience a world of blinking fireflies, and we could be the last to witness this natural phenomenon.
I actually have never seen any, and I've been in parts of America where they should be. If you've seen them and you got them in your city or your state, definitely drop it down below. Let me know where they're at.
We think we are here to achieve material success. There is no such a thing as material success that has any meaning. It is simply whether we are comfortable or uncomfortable on the journey through life. The most important thing is the journey, not the comfort.
Starting next month, Discord will force you to hand over your face or your ID to get full access, and they've already proven they can't protect it. To comply with new age verification laws, Discord is setting all accounts to a teen-appropriate experience by default. To unlock adult servers, you'll have to either give them a video selfie for an AI to scan or a photo of your government ID. Just 4 months ago, Discord's last age verification system was hacked. According to the company, hackers stole 70,000 government IDs, along with the names, usernames, and email addresses attached to them. Now they're about to collect millions more.
Well, you guys, that's another one in the books, man. I appreciate you guys for stopping by like you always do and watching another one with me. Before I get out of here, I'm about to put you on a whole nother book that I'm reading called The Big Book of Conspiracies. History's biggest delusions and speculations. Yeah, you got to enrich your mind, man, because nobody else will do it for you. Before we get out of here, make sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not already part of the iTrack fam, and most definitely hit that hype button, and I will definitely catch you on the next one.